podcast. The Idlecast.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Scott McDermott,
I was bit by a black widow in Hamul in my sleep.
Harrison Perkins,
Every muscle in my body is clenching right now.
And
Scott Clark,
You know, I would like to get to know a tarantula.
their mission to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Good morning, Vietnam!
We'll do it live. No. We'll do it live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
No, no, Jim, come on.
I think she'll do a good job.
My Christmas card is hilarious. I kidnapped Rudolph, and I'm going to kill him unless I get peace on Earth by Christmas Day.
Good morning, man. How are you?
Good morning. So good.
Good morning. Better after our openings. They're always cathartic.
Well, that's my intent, is to make you happy early in the morning. Not as early for you as for me, but... And we have an early morning listener, according to Scott McDermott.
Yeah, shout out to Samuel. Samuel listens at 3:30 in the morning Eastern time, which means he's probably our first listener, at least one of them, when he gets off of work and drives home. So he told us specifically that he is indeed entertained. So that's good to know, and it's good to see people. It's good to put a face to the ear, to the listener.
Faced. What are you looking at, Scott? You look
Oh, I was trying
like
to find
you've seen a
my
vision.
Westminster Confession of Faith. It's somewhere in my house of books. Hey, look,
Yes.
there's a bearded Clark.
Yes.
Is it because it's so cold in San Diego at this time of year?
It actually has been a little chilly
Stop.
in the mornings.
Stop.
It has been.
Stop.
It dropped
Oh no,
below 70.
It was super foggy. I actually have not looked out the window yet today, so I don't know how it is. But yesterday morning, it was like a Bakersfield, like the Thule fogs. You could only see about a half a block in any one direction, at least in our neighborhood. We sit down at the bottom of a hill, so the fog can be a little heavier here. You go up, it's better. No, I got busy and I didn't shave for a few days, and then one thing led to another, and I thought I could either shave it all off or just let it go. I decided to let it go.
Yeah, I vote bearded Clark.
Oh, interesting.
And it was 32 degrees at my house when I woke up.
We get
Outside
that.
the house, not inside.
I guess it's because I met you and you had the goatee, but any other version, I just
That's not
think
Collective.
something's not quite right in place.
Well, that's how 2-year-old children are. So when I had a beard, and then when the kids were little, and then I shaved it off, they freaked out. Katie freaked out, I think.
My dad has had a mustache my entire life, but there was one period he shaved it off, and I was just like, I'm not sure this is my dad. I don't know what to do.
Your image of your dad was one way, and then, yeah. No, I think she cried. So that's what happens.
So I had a dream last night that I discovered that Carl Bart had built the gazebo in my backyard. And I woke up in a panic. Now, listeners should note, there's no gazebo in my backyard.
I didn't remember you having built a gazebo, so.
No. The gazebo was just a feature of my dream backyard. Not the one I wish I had. I'm very content without a gazebo, but the backyard I had in the
It doesn't sound like you're content without a gazebo.
I don't want it. It's just one more thing that I have to fix at some point. So I'm content to have a wide open space, and leaves have started to fall, which we all say they're pretty, but it's really just leaf corpses that we celebrate.
That have to be scraped up and burned. Are you allowed to burn leaves where you are?
You're probably allowed to within certain reasons, but they'll also just pick up lawn refuge. So I just put mine yesterday in some bags, and we'll put them on the corner on trash day.
One of my earliest memories is an old man on the corner of our street burning leaves out in the front yard. I can still smell I can remember the smell of burning leaves. That's how you knew it was fall.
That's the smell of fall. Same here.
What have you got? Oh, Scott McDermott. I can't tell what that is.
I have a mug.
Yes. Oh, nice. Dunder Mifflin.
Dunder Mifflin.
So I have a question about your Bardian Arboretum. What was it? No. A gazebo.
Yeah,
Did he
gazebo.
do a good job? Because I can't imagine.
I mean, it's still there, and he died in what?
1968, I
the 60s? Yeah, so, I mean,
So, yes, exactly.
rural Michigan or the Detroit metro area.
You do not live in rural Michigan, Harrison.
No, where he is a little
Okay.
bit rural.
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine. Wherever I am.
There are trees.
There are trees, yes, and it is shedding its leaves. I went up 8 bags, and I think it's probably a third done. So
If you are in this thing, what again? Tell me, not an arboretum. What is it?
gazebo.
Gazebo. If you were in the Bardian gazebo, would you have an existential encounter with a word, or what would happen to you?
Just with it became a gazebo
Yes,
to me.
It's a gazebo to you when it becomes one existentially.
as I encountered it. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that psychologically. I know that. I mean, the book I was reading yesterday, which we'll have a review on the Heidel blog. I'm late. Sorry, Faith. Was citing a lot of there were lots of Bart in the footnotes,
okay.
and that's the only thing I can think that put him in my head. I don't know. Yeah, but I have discovered chopping wood.
Yes,
kinda
literally,
fun.
not figuratively.
Physically.
Literally, yeah. So the past 2 Monday mornings, I've been the update on the stump that I removed from the summer. So it's out of the ground and it was in a pile. And now I'm working on chopping it up into smaller bits so that I can burn it. There you go. That's the final step. And it's a workout.
It is. You're going to end up looking like Grizzly Adams.
We could hope, yeah.
Swinging an axe always makes me nervous because of all the times the Reformed Orthodox appealed to the axe head flying off the handle as a way of explaining the problem of evil, or at least mitigating the problem of evil.
I would like to think that our axes are slightly better
I don't
built.
know. I don't know.
I wouldn't think
Ours
that.
are made in China. Theirs were made in Europe.
But they're made of different materials and like crafted with precision machinery.
Well,
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I said I would like to think it. I didn't say it's true. I said I would like to think it.
okay, yeah. In your imaginary universe, what were you saying, Scott?
My thesis is that European axes in the 16th and 17th century were better made with better steel than the China-made stuff that we have.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. What's the name of your town? Bad.
That's
axe.
true.
There was at least one bad one. We know there was a bad one.
And yet it's still attached to itself.
Oh, interesting. So the axe head
but
didn't
no.
fly off.
Well, yeah, okay. Fair enough.
So why was it a bad axe if all you have to do is sharpen it?
Just worn down.
Oh, well then why didn't they just sharpen it instead of naming a town after it? Well, we have an axe that doesn't work. Let's name the town after it. Let's not sharpen it.
I've actually thought of that before. But think about this. Think about how eerie it would be to come to a camp or a settlement and there's no one there.
Just the axe.
Just a worn down axe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the
In a
setup
tree.
of a M. Night Shyamalan movie or something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That would have been eerie. And they were like, well, bad axe?
I don't know where to go from there in this story.
And it's not like
it's a great setup.
It's not like it's sitting, planted into some skull or something. That would be terrifying. But just an axe by itself.
I don't know. It might even be, well, yeah. I mean, at some point, it's like there's an axe in the woods. That's not really that's actually not that creepy.
I don't know. The skull, that would be going out of its way to be threatening. Just sitting there with no one around and just trees everywhere and nothing. I don't know.
The mystery
Yeah.
is usually scarier than the thing.
All right. Are you ready to open the coffer?
No.
All right. I'm going to do it.
No.
I think so. I thought I had one thing, but then it's gone now. So
You guys didn't notice
Okay,
my
here we go.
sweatshirt. That's okay, though.
Oh, I did.
It's
but
got the Toronto Blue Jays or something like that.
They're going to win the World Series.
I'll tell. Shout out to Wayne Veenstra. He'll be happy that somebody else likes the Blue Jays.
they are going to win. Yes.
My Canadian friend.
So all you Blue Jay listener fans out there, let's root for those Jays. They are going to win. I can guarantee it. I will bet you an entire bottle of maple syrup.
But by the time they hear this, the World Series will have long been over. And as it happens, as we're recording it, the World Series is long over. No, it was close. I mean, it was 7 games. But
Maybe the
I'm
best
sorry
ending to a World Series ever. I honestly not a big fan of either team, except for I was rooting for the Blue
Yeah.
Jays because my brother-in-law works for the Blue Jays. So I did want them to
okay.
win. That would have been great. But as far as endings to a World Series, 93 Joe Carter's walk-off home run against the Phillies, Mitch Williams, that is the only one that I can think of more exciting than this. Just as far as being a neutral fan, just liking baseball, those last few innings were incredible. I don't know if you got to see him.
When did Kirk Gibson, what year did he hit the
I want
home
to say
run?
that was 88.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, but that was not a walk-off
No.
for that day, right? That was the game-winning home run for that day. Maybe it was a walk-off for
Yeah,
that day,
but not for the-
but Joe Carter walked
not
off
for
the
the
entire
series.
series. That was incredible.
Series, yeah. Yeah, that's the definition of clutch.
And it was against Dennis Eckersley, who I think won the Cy Young that year.
Who was the pitcher for the Dodgers who pitched on short
Oral
rest?
Hershiser.
No, just this last series.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the 80s.
No.
I'm going to say his name wrong. He won the MVP. So
Yeah.
he's...
And he apparently he couldn't even lift his arm. I mean, it was really extraordinary. He has a sensei, I guess, a trainer, and they call him a sensei, and he challenged him to pitch and on short rest. And I did not know this, but I was listening to a Los Angeles radio station, a podcast from an LA radio station, and they KFI in Los Angeles, and they were saying, the host was saying, Tim Conway Jr. Right? If you guys are you old enough to remember Tim Conway Sr.?
She's a singer.
No, the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, he's a dancer.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
No,
the
he was a comedian.
variety show.
Yeah, he was
Yeah. Sorry, that was dumb. That's what I meant.
a hilarious comedian who did some fairly mediocre movies with Don Knotts and some other things. He was a pioneer in direct-to-video comedy. He had a character called Dorf on golf.
I don't think you could say that word anymore.
Oh, and fishing.
Fishing, yeah. Yeah, that was popular back in the 80s.
I think they want to be called little people.
In the previous century.
His son hosts the afternoon drive show on KFI, and he was talking about what he was hearing and reading about this pitcher whose name I don't remember, but who pitched on short rest. And after he pitched the previous game, his arm was so bad he couldn't move it. I mean, it was just dead, and then he couldn't lift his arm. So then to turn around and pitch on short rest. Yeah. So this is pretty devastating, what these guys do to their arms, I guess. I did not realize it was that bad.
Yeah. That's why everybody has surgery.
Oh.
Most guys are getting new elbow ligaments or their shoulders repaired.
It's the Tommy John surgery, right? The elbow ligaments.
The elbow ligament, right?
Yeah.
So Yamamoto, I knew I'd say it wrong, so I tried not to say it. Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Okay.
He didn't pitch on short rest. He pitched on no rest.
no rest.
I have never seen that before since I've been alive.
Oh, wow. So he did back to back.
Yeah, he pitched
Wow.
6 innings.
Yeah.
And then the next
In this day and age, that's a lot.
That's what you hope to get out of your starting pitcher now. If you can get 6, you're happy. And then he went 2 2/3 the next day.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Is that right? Is that correct? The next day?
Well, that's what you said. I believe you.
Well, that's what I said.
I believe everything you say.
Yeah, he pitched the next day. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we should grab hold of that because I was just listening to a recent episode of ours, and Scott had this fantastic story about how the Cleveland Indians got their name, and I said something about the basic function of doors. You believed him and doubted me. I was sitting there thinking that, and his story was true. I believed it was true, but the contrast was startling.
What he said sounded at the moment more credible than what you said. It was no reflection on you. It's how it struck. So
yeah, so 0 days rest is insane. I can't believe he did that.
That's amazing.
And as far as the former Cleveland Spiders star Louis Sockalexis, who was a Native American.
Okay.
I did fact check myself, and it was indeed a real true thing.
All right.
But we did fact check you, and you were also right. So I am glad to have learned that about doors.
Interior doors.
We even had follow-up texting about this.
Yeah. Interior doors, right, open in, but exterior doors can open out. Yes.
Residential doors, I think, all open in. And interior doors all open in, but commercial doors can open outward.
Good point.
I think, does our listenership go up when we talk about doors, or do you think it remains static, or do you think it goes down?
I am sure that it does. These are the riveting facts of the universe.
Well, I
that
do
people
have
need.
2 doors in this office.
And where
I don't
else
know
would
if
they
anyone
get
knows
them?
that or not.
Where else would they get potential questions about Augustine's theology and talk about door function? There's no other podcast that
Augustine?
does.
Are you talking about Saint?
Yeah. Sanctus Augustinus.
Amongst the other saints, like even.
Okay,
like
I'm going to try
ourselves.
again. Are you ready to open the coffer? Okay.
No.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Hopefully Augustine's in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
All right. I'm going to reach in here.
Yes, a relic of Augustine is in there. The coffin of Augustine.
Okay, first thing before we get to a question, it's actually, as it happens, text message to 760-618-1563, which is the Heidel number. Super Friends and Dr. Clark, order corrected. Atlantic Archipelago. Oh man, I'm still laughing. Not every listener is a regular listener. These are in quotation marks. What about an irregular listener like me? Great work, team. This is Dale Kern, regular listener. So thank you, Dale Kern. That made me laugh.
Vindicated at last.
Yeah. We like irregular listeners. Regular listeners. Most listeners are irregular, as it happens. We all have a flaw in us. We could do a whole episode on that. All right.
Just talk about our flaws.
Yes, this one is actually.
Well, let's read some emails, shall we?
Good idea. That's what this is. This is from Jonathan King, who says, "Dear Super Friends, my daughter is currently earning a nursing degree at an RCA college in Iowa. I wonder if that's Northwestern. I bet it is. How many RCA colleges are there in Iowa? I bet it's Northwestern. It's in Orange City. It's one of the most beautiful little towns I've ever visited. And I visited literally probably hundreds of little towns. It's just amazing. Pristine little town.
Is it Dutch?
I was very impressed.
You just said more than I've ever heard before about Iowa, by the way.
Well, yeah. As a Nebraskan, we have a certain animus against Iowa, but I don't count Northwestern Iowa as Iowa, honestly. When I think of Northwestern Iowa, I don't think of it as Iowa.
I had actually forgotten that it was even there until I was just in Omaha, and then people started mentioning Iowa.
Because that's Northwestern Iowa is where all Onze folk are, right? It's mostly Dutch.
So would that be orange with a J?
Oranje.
Would that be
It's
Dutch?
no, they use the English spelling. House of Oranje.
Yeah, so
But,
because it's not because there's citrus out there.
No, this is the House of Oranje.
It's because there's citrus in the Netherlands.
It's one of my favorite houses now that I'm Dutch.
Yes, those are you are now
I
Onze
have
folk, a little bit
actual
Onze folk.
biological proof that I'm Dutch
Yeah.
for the next year, for the next whole year.
Genetic. Yeah. Next thing you know, you know what? Okay, Harrison is such a master carpenter. You should commission him to make you a pair of
I
klompen.
figured I could do it myself now.
Really?
Yeah, he's got the Dutch in him.
Well, that's true. I sit corrected. Yes, you can make your own klompen.
I clearly look Dutch.
Well, you could. Sort of dark Dutch. You can be
A refugee.
Maybe
A refugee, maybe.
Just kind
So-
of rub a block of wood, and it'll probably turn into.
I'll become
klompen.
blonde
No,
hair,
you're not-
blue-eyed,
It's work.
and I'll grow 6 inches.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not quite tall enough to be Dutch.
I would be the shortest
so-
Dutchman ever. For the listener, I'm not that short. I'm actually 6'1". So for the listener,
Oh, no, that's tall enough.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you qualify. Yeah, no, you qualify. You just can't be.
well,
five.
had I kept growing, I would have been 6'1", but I stopped long before that.
It's got to be
Well, how
the
tall are
inside
you
of the
now?
shoes that are the hard part, right?
I don't know. I've never made klompen. I have no idea. But I have put my feet in them, and they're more comfortable than people think. I saw somebody complaining or making fun of klompen. I think I said to them, you should try it. They're more comfortable than you think.
They do make sense on a farm.
Yeah. And they do klompen. I mean, when you walk, they klompen.
That is the sound.
Right? It's onomatopoetic. Okay. So in northwestern Iowa, many of her fellow students struggle with the concept of predestination. And a few topics come up that I'd love you to handle. One, what do you think of the term double predestination and what is its origin? Should Reformed believers lean into this term or counter it? And we'll do that one. And there's another one. Some of her classmates argue that there's a difference between Calvin's notions of predestination and Augustine's notion of predestination. The contrast seems to be that Augustine's view is more akin to a corridors of time perspective, that is, God predestines those who will choose him. That's not true. Can you give us some insight into the true historical nature of Augustine's view and any important distinctions from what we confess in the canons of Dort? And finally, he says, as a child of the 80s and the OG Super Friends cartoon, I must know which one of you is Aquaman. I don't think any of us is Aquaman.
Nobody wants to be Aquaman.
I'll do it.
Harrison looks
I'll do it.
disgusted. Well, if you go to the Super Friends page, right, heidelblog.net/superfriends, I don't think any of us, there were more than 3 Super Friends.
Wait, we actually are assigned to a cartoon hero?
Yeah, there was a graphic that somebody did.
Who am I?
It's somebody.
Please tell me I'm Batman.
I thought my metaphor was always that Scott was Batman with 2 Robins.
Hold on, let's
Wait,
see.
I am not Robin. I'm sorry.
Okay, I am, according to this, I am Superman. Harrison is Batman. And,
Come on.
And Scott McDermott, the second, is the Flash, I think.
I actually think
who
that's
is.
a Wonder Woman belt.
No.
I mean, I'm not saying that
On me or
the
on
rest
Clark?
of the, maybe it is the Flash. Okay.
No, I think that's the Flash.
I mean, the rest of the suit looks Flash-like, but
Yeah.
I got to look this up. Where are you finding this?
I just said heidelblog.net/superfriends. It's just like school. I have to repeat stuff for Scott. Do you see it?
/ what?
okay, maybe it is a Flash style belt. It's
Super Friends. heidelblog.net/superfriends.
I spelled Super Friends wrong. Goodness.
SUPERFRIE.
I flipped the I and the E.
Yeah, I figured
I'm
that.
Dutch. You got to forgive me. We would have put 3 E's in a row. That's how we would.
with a J.
That would make Super Friends. I
Exactly.
don't think that's right. Okay,
Super
so
Fiend. Okay, hold on.
While you're looking at that,
It's fitting,
So-
isn't it, that Scott is the Flash? Because of how speedy we're working through this.
That is for sure a Wonder Woman belt.
no, I don't
And-
think.
It's-
it
yeah,
isn't.
I mean, I think it's meant to be the Flash, but that's a steep angular bolt that looks like a W.
Why? Where's my facial hair?
Well, maybe you didn't have it at the time.
I've never not had it since
Oh,
I've
I
been
don't know.
born.
Well, you didn't get facial hair. I mean, I think Harrison's character looks like Ben Affleck, and
He does.
But the one like online quiz I've ever taken about like which celebrity would you look like, that's what I got. So
Oh, that's funny.
bang.
Who? Come on, who is Captain Picard?
Patrick
Yeah, you
Stewart.
look like him.
I look like Patrick Stewart,
You look like Patrick Stewart, and I look like
you without a beard.
a nondescript third wheel.
It looks like you without a
very
beard.
nondescript.
I don't.
That's like the
But a
most
chiseled
Would
one.
you-
I
what's
mean,
the
honestly,
word?
I'd rather look like my cartoon version than my real self.
Well, that's true for most of us.
goodness. Who drew this?
I'm sorry, I don't remember. Somebody made this and sent it to us.
I will pay them to add facial hair and change my outfit.
Okay, so are you serious? This is the first time you've seen this?
It is, and I don't like my.
I must have sent this to you at some point.
I would have remembered that I'm wearing a woman's outfit.
Yeah, so you're not really.
My legs are a lot bigger than that too. Can they make me? Can they make me Gladiator
really?
from Russell Crowe movie? What is it?
No,
Okay,
because this is
can
the
I
Super
be-
Friends. You can't just start adding characters
be,
randomly to the Super Friends.
Ryu from Street Fighter, or
I mean, we can just make you a better
Hulk?
belt so that it looks like
Can
the
I be
Flash.
Hulk?
How about we just straighten out the?
throw a beard on there.
It is, as they say, it is what it is.
Although you know the wrist cuffs, I don't know that the Flash had that. This might be you might just be Wonder Woman. I'm not going to lie to you.
My goodness.
Okay.
Oh, he kind of has things on his arms. Yeah, okay.
What about the term double predestination? I don't know the origin of the term, but I'm sure it goes back to, I know it goes back to the late Middle Ages. Who was the Italian Augustinian?
Rimini.
Rimini, yes. Gregory of Rimini wrote on Gemina. That was the Gemina Predestinatio. And I'm sure other people wrote on Gemina, twofold predestination.
I always feel like I have to get these correct because you taught my medieval course. I feel like I'm like on the hook.
Well,
in
I'm
the
the one
moment.
who, well, Scott had that course. And I'm the one who taught it. I should remember Gregory of Rimini. So.
I kind of have this suspicion that you do remember, and you're seeing if we remember.
Actually, no, I did a study session yesterday with some students who are nervous about the upcoming midterm. And so we did I just met with them in the afternoon to go through some stuff, answer questions, clarify notes and things.
Just say back what you say to us. It's that easy.
Pardon?
It's just say back what you say to us. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Say what you said.
These are the children of COVID, right, who were in school during COVID, and so there are issues.
I actually enjoyed the first exam I took with you was frightening. All of them had a little bit of stress. The last one, I was like, that was good. It was almost refreshing.
Yeah, it's the not knowing. Everything's fair. If you talked about it, it's going to be on there.
It'll be obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious.
So, okay, mea culpa. Early on when I started teaching ancient church, I always said no trick questions. That was a matter of principle. And then one time I thought of a really clever question and I gave in to the temptation and I gave them a trick question, and they punished me for it. I heard about that, and it was fair enough. I mean, because I said no trick questions, and then I contradicted myself. But otherwise, they're obvious questions. If you paid attention, if you showed up, if you listened, if you took notes, there's no reason not to nail this. But
mea culpa, te absolvo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So anyway, Gemina Predestinatio, twofold predestination. Who first said that? I don't know, but it's certainly a medieval term. I don't know that the term is in Augustine. That'd be interesting. I did not check before trying to answer this question, but there's no reason for Reformed believers to shy away from that term. This is an ancient doctrine. It's in Augustine as far as I know. It's so interesting. I think people just make up things about Augustine and then they hope that nobody will look, or they get away with it because nobody ever actually reads sources. But I've read a fair bit of Augustine, and there are lots of Augustinians at the time of Augustine and after Augustine, with the Second Council of Orange in 529, and then there were Augustinians, always a minority, but high Augustinians, soteriological Augustinians after that. Gottschalk was a double predestinarian. He got there by reading Augustine. Thomas Aquinas taught double predestination.
It's in the Irish articles as a Reformed confession, not by term, not by the name, but the concept. Very clearly. So Article 12, by the same eternal counsel, God has predestinated some unto life and reprobated some unto death, of both which there is a certain number, known only to God, which can neither be increased nor diminished.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might even be in Paul, too.
It might even be in Paul in Romans 9. So we should say what this means, double predestination. So it refers to election and reprobation. And there are two ways of talking about reprobation. One is that from all eternity, God considers humanity not as created, but as potentials. And he sort of swipes right on one and left on the other. I don't know if that's the right way to put that. I've never used one of those apps, but
good,
which is good. Because I would be here to do the show.
Yeah, there's multiple problems built into that premise.
I would be lying in the cold ground somewhere, probably, with holes in me. So God elects some and reprobates other. That's a very quick down and rough sketch of superlapsarianism. But most of us have been infralapsarians, which is to say that God considers us as created, right? Considers us as created, right? And then fallen, and out of that fallen mass of humanity, he elects some and allows the rest to remain in their sin, which they freely chose. So that's, again, these are very quick sketches. And most of us have been infralapsarian. So that the thing, I think people just assume that if you hold a double predestination, you are a superlapsarian, and that's what offends people. That the idea that God considers us not even as created, but as potentials, and out of the potential mass of humanity, not even considered as created, he elects some and reprobates others.
Not even considered as fallen.
Yeah, not considered even as fallen. So not created and not fallen.
I think the not as fallen is the more important key.
Yeah. Well, you have to be created to be fallen, right? Anyway, so you're right, but not as fallen. And so that offends people, and they just assume that only superlapsarians teach double predestination, but Augustinian theologians have been teaching double predestination since Augustine. And as far as I know, to anticipate or get to the other question, this idea that Augustine taught election on the basis of foreseen faith is absurd. So I don't believe that's true at all. He didn't take what is in effect an Arminian position in response to Pelagius. He took, to put it anachronistically, an Augustinian position against Pelagius.
I don't think that's anachronistic for Augustine to say what Augustine said.
Well, yeah, but what we think of as Augustinian, which is a broader movement. Yeah. So I just think people are making things up, and that's because people are offended by the idea of double predestination, but they're offended for the wrong reason, because they're not thinking in infralapsarian terms, that God allows the reprobate to remain in their sins. But I mean, it's absolutely unequivocally taught in Thomas Aquinas. It's probably one of the most clear explanations of double predestination that you will find is in the Summa. So this is certainly not anything that Calvin invented. And he certainly thought he was being faithful to Augustine. All the Augustinians thought they were being faithful to Augustine. And the canons or the Synod of Dort, they were largely defending Augustine against Pelagius, which is how the Synod put it. The Synod described the Remonstrants and Arminius as Pelagius. Synod says that Arminius brought out of hell again the errors of Pelagius, and condemns the Remonstrants as Pelagians, and they thought of themselves as standing up for Augustine or Augustine. By the way, both are true. Both are accurate. Augustine is English. Augustine is abbreviated Latin.
Floridian.
Well, Augustine is, yes, St. Augustine, Florida, yes, is Floridian.
That's a good one for people who get it, but awful for those who don't.
Augustine is just abbreviated from Augustinus, so you can say it either way.
Extra credit if you can remember his first name.
Aurelius.
Extra credit. There you go, Harrison. You got it.
His mom's name was Monica.
Yes, and his father?
I don't know.
Patricus?
Patricus.
How was it? Well,
Patricus. Oh, Patrick.
I almost did
now.
well.
Call or text now 760-618-1563.
Did we finish on that question?
I don't know. Let's see. So the term is fine. That was his first question. And the difference between Calvin and Augustine is not anything that Calvin knew about. Calvin thought he was being utterly faithful to Augustine, as did Luther. I mean, the Augustinian doctrine of election, unconditional election, and even reprobation, which is clearly in bondage of the will, that is basic to the Reformation. That's one of the first things that Luther rediscovered as he's lecturing through the Psalms from 1513, 1514. That's fundamental, foundational to the Protestant Reformation. So people who want to get rid of this are attacking the very foundation of the Protestant Reformation.
You mean like Lutherans?
Yes. Yeah, certainly Luther.
I just wanted to.
Yeah. So this idea that Augustine taught corridors of time is...
No, I think maybe that question got misunderstood. Scott is asking if you mean that Lutherans are attacking the foundations of the Reformation.
Oh, no.
By rejecting double predestination. Am I correct, Scott? Did I get you?
That was what I was asking.
I'm sorry.
Because you just said Luther taught this. He rediscovered it. The Augustinian double predestination that we believe and we have in our confessions and that we've seen all throughout church history. But Lutherans do not today believe that. And so I was wondering, does that include Lutherans?
Well, yeah, I guess I want to question the premise. I'm happy to be corrected. I do find it difficult sometimes to understand what the Lutherans are saying in the Book of Concord. And I didn't research this before the episode. In my copy of the Book of Concord, oh, there it is. It's to my right. I could grab it.
I should get one of those.
But are we confident that they reject reprobation?
With their mouths, they do.
And where do they do that?
I think he's talking about, so you're talking about the Lutheran confessional standards, and Scott's talking about individual Lutherans today.
Oh, that could be to attack, double predestination and unconditional election, divine sovereignty, and to make election in any way contingent on foreseen faith. That's the thing I really wanted to hit. That is a fundamental attack on the Reformation. It was a nominalist Pelagian, William of Ockham, who in the 14th century said that God has endowed everyone with everything that they need, and he collapsed nature and grace and set it up so that those who capitalize on what they've been given are essentially elect. And that's what the Remonstrants did. The Remonstrants did that same thing, and the whole Reformed world rose up as one and said, no, this is not how it works. How it works is that God has loved his elect in Christ from all eternity. And he allows the reprobate to remain in their sin, but the elect are not granted an endowment of what Arminius called common grace, not what we mean by common grace. And election is not contingent on what we do. It's contingent on the unconditional will of God. So grace is free, it's sovereign, and it's efficacious, and it can't be resisted. Contra, for example, our Lutheran friends who think that grace can be resisted.
It is kind of striking, isn't it, how some of our heaviest hitters in the Reformed tradition were supralapsarian.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know what to do with that.
I'm thankful for Gomarus. I don't agree with him on everything, but I mean, it was a...
Who, Frankie?
Yeah, Frankie Gomarus, Franciscus Gomarus, who stood up against Arminius when it wasn't popular, when it was risky, and defended the sovereignty of God, defended the Augustinian consensus, and defended the Reformation, defended the gospel against the corruptions introduced into the church and the church's teaching by Arminius and its followers.
And William Twiss,
Yeah.
likely William Perkins, James Ussher, arguably, and I think more persuasively. I mean, that's
Yeah, most people think
a
of
strong list.
Beza was a
Beza, there you go.
supralapsarian. But there are different
Possibly
versions.
Calvin, depending on
Yeah.
how you take him. I mean, that's arguable both ways,
Yeah.
I think. And he may just not have had that lined up.
Well, I think, the question is whether people are actually consciously addressing this issue. That's what makes it difficult.
I have two questions
Yeah.
and a comment.
Shoot.
Question number one. Didn't Bill Ockham have some sort of strange view or twist, speaking of twist, on predestination? Like God has the potential to double predestinate, but he only ordains like the single predestination, like potentia absoluta ordinata distinction.
Well, that's close. I mean, what he's ordained to do is to endow everyone with what they need.
But he could have ordained everyone to.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. He could have, but he didn't. What he ordained to do was endow everyone with what Arminius would later call common grace.
That's an interesting view. Second question. We brought up Lutherans. I think in the Lutheran confession, it does talk about predestination, but not for the reprobate. So single predestination, for lack of a better term. Is that even a term? I don't know.
Yeah.
Silence is not necessarily to take the opposite view. I mean, I don't think so. The Westminster Confession doesn't. It speaks one direction, but that doesn't mean it
doesn't
excludes double predestination. So
Lutherans do believe in double predestination. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm saying it's possible that they can, just because their confession doesn't state it doesn't mean that it doesn't allow for it.
Well, I guess that would be the normative view, so that makes sense. So take the Lutherans out of it. For someone who believes in predestination but not double predestination, those people exist, yes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Logically, how? I guess I just don't understand how logically.
It's left to implication rather than decision. You know, that God didn't appoint the reprobate unto condemnation. He just leaves them to it.
Floating?
In the epitome of the formula of concord, there is no allusion to the word reprobate or reprobation. That does not occur. I'm just quickly searching some of the major documents. I'm looking at the solid declaration now. Okay, here we go. Here is the formula of concord, solid declaration. And this is paragraph 39. And I won't read the whole thing. It's fairly long, but it says, moreover, even as God has ordained in his eternal counsel, eternal is in brackets, that the Holy Ghost should call, enlighten, and convert the elect through the word, and that he will justify and save all those who by true faith receive Christ. So he has also determined in his counsel that he will harden, reprobate, and condemn those who are called through the word if they reject the word and resist the Holy Ghost, who wishes to be efficacious and to work in them through the word and persevere therein. And in this manner, many are called, but few are chosen. So
I was mistaken about the Westminster Confession. So
Chapter 3. I mean,
yes.
That was going to be my final comment.
But paragraph 7 is I realized chapter 3 was about the decrees. So paragraph 3 is very succinct and explicit about double predestination, about angels. Paragraph 5 is about predestination unto life, and paragraph 7 includes not as blunt as could be, but nonetheless clear statement of ordination unto condemnation. Doesn't use the word reprobate.
No, but I think to ordain them to dishonor
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and wrath
reprobation.
for their sin, it pretty much covers it. To the praise of his glorious justice.
No, it is the idea, very, very plainly. It's the idea. I was just flagging that it doesn't have the term.
Well, I was going to conclude by encouraging the questioner to go read chapter 3 of the Westminster Confession of Faith in its entirety, and also just throw in, maybe read Ephesians 1 and Romans 9.
And the canons of Dort handle this obviously very well. But even now, I would not speak, and we don't speak the way the Lutherans do, but some idea of reprobation is certainly in the Formula of Concord, in the Solid Declaration.
Interesting that it said, if they reject the word.
That's right. I mean, that's
Putting the cart before the horse.
I guess it comes down to whether they're speaking a priori or a posteriori, before the fact or after the fact. I mean, just putting the best spin on this, this is an after-the-fact explanation. It is the case that those who are reprobate do resist the Holy Spirit in some sense, but then it doesn't answer the question, well, why do they resist the Holy Spirit? Well, because they're reprobate. Are they reprobate because they resisted, or did they resist because they're reprobate? So it's certainly not our doctrine of reprobation, but it is a doctrine of reprobation.
What were the canons of Dort that you would recommend reading on this? Just the whole thing?
Well, I mean, certainly the first head of doctrine and the fifth head of doctrine, I would think.
First and fifth, and then chapter 3 of the Westminster Confession. Really helpful.
I mean, the canons aren't that lengthy. You could read all of them.
Irish Article 12. Make the Irish Articles great again.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more from the Heidelcast, brought to you by Heidelberg Reformation Association.org. Don't forget, when the coin in the coffer clinks, the cost of bandwidth shrinks. Copyright Heidelberg Reformation Association. All rights reserved. This is a Heidel Media production.
The best podcast